Joelicious.
Kitchen. Yeah, Joe.
All right, folks. Joe and Joe are back in the kitchen.
Yeah,
Joelicious
Joe.
kitchen. Tonight, as I said, we got Joe.
Yes,
Used to be the Tech Joe. Now he's the Veggie Joe. In the kitchen, he's the Veggie Joe. This guy, the music you can hear in the background, all the shows that we have, all the projects that we have, the music belongs to this guy. This guy made all of it for us. This is so awesome. I really admire this guy. So tonight, we're making Dreineken. What's Dreineken? Is Draniki, the Belarusian potato pancakes, with Heineken. For that, we will need Heineken, registered trademark of the Dutch company making beer. I have to specify that. We will need potatoes, about 10 or 11 or 12, about a dozen, smaller ones, peeled, cleaned, washed.
No, we're using red potatoes for this,
Yes,
right?
correct. We're using red potatoes, but you don't have to stick with red potatoes. We will need some onions.
Some onions.
We're using 2 medium-sized onions. And we're also using 2 onions that are chopped. We're going to use them for the sauce. 4 tablespoons of flour, salt and pepper, 2 eggs, a whole lot of mushrooms, baby bell or any kind of mushrooms you guys like, washed about a pound, I would say. Sour cream, we need 4 tablespoons. We're using chicken, put it in these guys. Now that will come later. We're going to talk about these guys later. We also need some butter. I'll take 1 stick for the sauce. What else am I missing here? Seems like we got everything. Olive oil in the griddle or frying pan if you want to use that for making the pancakes themselves. So we'll start with just, oh yes, and the food processor. So we'll start with putting onions first. So these 2 onions are going to go into the food processor with a blade. Throw them in there. Cover. Pulse. And let it run till it turns into blended mash.
Alright, we're just looking for an onion paste here.
Onion paste, that's what we're looking for. We don't want any chunks of onion left.
Ideally, at the end of this, the batter will be entirely homogenized, one consistent batter.
That's right. That's right. I'm going to use a spatula. Scrape some onions off the side of the food processor. And make it, do it another quick run. I think it looks good already.
I don't see any large chunks in there.
That's it. Turn it off. Get rid of the blade. And now we need an attachment like this. It's finer attachment.
For this case, the finer the better, honestly.
Right. But if you guys don't have a food processor like that, you can always use a regular grater. Make America great again. We can use the fine grade like this, or like this. This side or this side.
You'll save yourself a whole lot of trouble just by having the food processor.
Yes. Yes. And the fingers.
This episode would be a few hours longer if we went with the manual grater.
So now, we're taking potatoes 1 by 1 or 2 by 2. I go 3 at a time. Turn it on and push it down. Look at that. It takes me seconds to do it.
Now, a little note from my kitchen here. I don't have a grater quite this fine, so if you don't have one like this, you have a coarser grater, what you can do is run that and then use the blade attachment. But this speeds up the process a lot, having a very fine grater.
Let's do that. Perfect. We will have some bigger chunks, some larger chunks of potatoes get stuck in there, which is fine. We're going to filter through and pick them all out. It's no big deal. I'll show you how we're going to do it later. Doesn't like me. Two more. Voila! Onion and potatoes. Processed. Now it's time to get this into a strainer. What we're going to do is we're basically going to get rid of as much liquid as possible. Just like that. I'm going to use a spoon. All that potato and onion juice is coming out. We want to get rid of it. Make it as dry as possible. One more stir and we're done.
That's starting to get a great consistency there.
Yes, sir. Looks very nice. Last drip. That's
There
it.
it goes.
So next, we're gonna toss all this into this bowl, just like that. I like the sound. It does look like mashed potatoes. That's what it should be.
Well, it is
Beautiful.
mashed potatoes.
Beautiful. It is mashed potatoes. Then we're adding 2 eggs. Excuse me, sir. One of these knives. Eggs, one by one. And then stir them in. Four tablespoons of flour, along with salt and pepper. We want to go heavy on the pepper and easy on the salt, because some people like it over salted like me. Some people like it or can't have it over salted. So let's just go slightly salted.
And now this bit here, this isn't exact at all. This is entirely to taste.
Right.
Now we both love pepper.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, I'll put pepper on just about anything.
That's right. We had pepper with cottage cheese the other day.
That's right. Cracked peppercorn cottage cheese. Fantastic.
Joelicious. All right. Next thing, we're going to add the flour. And at this point, we're going to start the griddle.
Got that preheating to 400 degrees now.
To the top. To the top. The highest setting possible. We want to start it high and then adjust it to lower as we need.
Yeah, one thing to note about these, it's very difficult to burn these, I find.
That's right.
If you got the batter correct, honestly, from there it's smooth sailing.
That's it. That's it. So we want to go generously on the oil, olive oil for the first batch. So once it heats up, it's all you, Joe. Now we want to make them on the smaller side too. So be very careful how much you put on. So I would say maybe we should have used the smaller spoon, but you can adjust it. We basically wanted the size of these containers. The ceramic containers I brought authentic from Belarus. That's what they use for baking potato pancakes in the recipe we're making today. So we're basically going the bottom of this, that size, and then we can go wider, and then we can, because of the shape of it. Now, anything bigger than that, we're going to leave it, put aside, leave it for Joe. Because we got a Veggie Joe here, he cannot have meat, so we're just going to have, we're making actually 3 recipes today. We're making one with meat, one without meat, and the ones with meat, without meat will have beer in them. And with the ones with meat will have beer in some of them. So we're basically just trying a lot of multiple things. Well, and we'll definitely give it a shot trying the beer recipe and the non-beer recipe to just compare, as we always do on Joelicious Kitchen. So I can smell the griddle.
Yeah, that is heating up very fast.
That's good. That's good.
That's one of the advantages of an electric griddle over using a gas stove.
That's
It
right.
just heats up so quickly, and just the cooking surface you have, consistent heat across the entire thing.
Just to show you guys this is what we have for batter. If you want to use a paper towel and just
Now, a consistent layer of oil is very important here. The thing is,
the first layer we want to make it nice and thick. Basically, just pour it generously, because that's where all the crust we're getting all from.
now this batter will stick rather bad if you don't get a good oil layer on here.
Yes. All right. While you're doing that, I'm gonna get us some beers.
I would
What do you
love
say,
a beer.
Joe?
I can already smell that.
Cheers and beers
Cheers and beers.
at Joelicious Kitchen.
Yeah, Joe.
Refreshing.
Very refreshing.
Citra hops are in it.
Now, that's not a very intrusive taste. Very pleasant.
I'm sure both beer gourmet beer drinkers will like that, and people that like lighter beers. So it will. This is the kind of beer that will make everybody happy.
Yeah, now that would definitely complement a savory meal like this very well.
Absolutely, good pairing with that. Cavalia Brewing, Joe and Joe. Made year round. No more limited editions. How we doing there? Is it on max?
Yep, that is maxed out.
All right, good.
You can see it's starting to dry out a bit on the left.
That's good.
That's a good indicator to how cooked it is on the other side. Once you start to see it dry out on the top end, it means you're nearly ready to flip it. Now it's okay to check it, see if it's sticking on the edges. If it starts to move as one piece,
That's the time to flip it.
that is perfect. That lifted very nicely.
Look at that. You might want to put a little more on the oil
Yeah.
to make them more of a crust. And also, folks, if for some reason the batter doesn't stick together, You can always add another egg. There's nothing wrong with adding another egg to the batter. Just like making regular pancakes. So what about the mushrooms?
Oh,
Now it's time to probably start cooking the sauce for the mushrooms. And we're doing two kinds of sauce. One is with beer, the other one is with no beer. So at this point, we're gonna move over to the stove. While I'm doing that, the Veggie Joe is gonna take care of keep cooking the potato pancakes. So by then, once we're all done, it's a simultaneous process. Once it's all done, we're gonna put them all together and enjoy with beer or without. So to start with that, we will need 2 pans. Start them both on medium high. I'm gonna use some of that olive oil, if you can share that with me, brother.
yes, chef.
A little bit, just a little bit. We will basically use butter. Just drizzle a little bit of olive oil. There you go, sir. And now, we're gonna separate the butter. We're doing 1 stick. So I would say 1/3 of the stick will go to the smaller pan. Maybe a little bit more. And the other half, or the other part, is going to the bigger pan. We're doing the beer one in the bigger pan. And the non-beer one in a smaller pan. Because we want to enjoy the beer. Because it's Dreineken. Let the butter melt. Butter is melting, along with olive oil. Then we take in the 2 chopped onions. And separating them in the same proportion. 2/3 are going to the larger pan, and 1/3 is going to the smaller pan. Once the butter starts sizzling, that's the time to throw the onions in. All right. So we want the onions to get a little bit on the golden side. At this point, we want to add some pepper. And some salt. Stir it for a little bit. All right. We're back to the stove. onion is done. At this point, we're going to add the mushrooms, same proportion. Two-thirds in here, and one-third in here. Cover them and let them cook for a couple of minutes. So that the mushrooms are golden brown. Nice and crunchy. And of course, we are going to need that Dreineken beer that we have on the table. Because it wouldn't be Dreineken without the Dreineken. So at this point we're going to add some chicken broth to this. Just a little bit. Stir it. Cover. And now the most exciting part. The beer part.
Yeah, Joe.
The moment I do that, I just like the way it foams. I don't know what it is about it, but I just love it. So we got the Dreineken beer. Smells like Holland. I would say a big bottle like this, we want to use just a little bit, maybe 1/3 of a bottle, if that. Stir it. Cover it. And wait for a couple more minutes. Okay. Now the sour cream.
I gotta say, that sauce smells phenomenal.
It's gonna taste as great. You can always go generous on the sour cream. There's nothing wrong with that.
Draniki and sour cream just go together too well.
You can actually have just Draniki with just sour cream and they will just be Joelicious without anything else.
That will not disappoint you, I promise.
But we're doing everything the way, the Joelicious kitchen way. So tonight we're actually doing Dreineken, not just Dreineken. So that's sour cream. Gonna mix in with the sauce. Let it reduce for a little bit more. At this point we want to turn off the heat and let it just sit there. So we turned off the heat. Let the sauce sit there and just thicken a little bit. We're gonna pour a little more beer. The pancakes are almost done.
Got one more small batch to do.
That's it. Beautiful.
Now, this griddle does make things very easy.
Absolutely.
Those aren't sticking a bit.
Now this chicken is basically a breast or two, a chicken breast or two that are baked. Put some salt on them a little bit and chopped. We're going to use them for these guys right here. That's coming next. At this point, the Veggie Joe will enjoy the pancakes the way they are. And we'll proceed with the fancy Dreineken recipe. At this point, we're going to start the oven. I'd say 375 is great, Fahrenheit. 190, I think, Celsius. So 375. We will line a baking tray with parchment paper or aluminum foil, whatever you wish. We have 3 of these baking pots. And we have some Draniki. So we're going to take some of the beer-free sauce. We're going to make two pots with beer-free sauce. So what we're going to do is take some of the mushrooms, throw them on the bottom. And we're going to pour some liquid in there too, just a little bit, for the bottom. Beautiful, just like that. Now, I'm going to take some of the beer one and throw some on the bottom. Pour some liquid. Bit messy here, but it's okay. We can handle it. Next, we're taking some of that chicken and throw it in a few chunks into each pot. Then we take the smaller ones for the pancakes and line them over the mushrooms, onions, and sauce. Then continue in the same manner. Okay? Not missing anything, making sure. Cover with the lids. And throw them in the oven. At this point, it's very close to 375. So we're just going to carefully put them in the oven. Good stuff. So next, I forgot to put the timer on, but we want to do 5 to 10 minutes, not more, because all the ingredients are already cooked through. So all we're basically doing, we're letting the sauce absorb into Draniki, make them Dreinekens, not Draniki. Basically, we want all the beer go into all the juice, whether it's broth or beer, to go into Draniki and make them Joelicious. In the meanwhile, we're gonna take some of the regular pancakes Draniki. We're gonna add some sauce, which we got here, on top of them. And Veggie Joe is gonna enjoy his meal today.
See, I get my very own separate batch.
That's right. That's right.
Does make me feel a little special.
I think we should probably start putting some of those on the plate for you. Since they're nice and cooked, nice and hot, with sauce.
Now that sauce looks spectacular.
Why don't you throw some pancakes on the plate and I'll pour some sauce for you.
We got some fresh hot ones
There
ready to
you
go.
There you go.
Got the fun size sampler there. Unplug that. Look at that.
Alright. Throw one right on top. There you go. You need a fork and a knife.
It's not just the taste of it, you gotta have some presentation
That's
there
right.
too.
That's right. There you go. Be careful. The griddle is still hot. There's the mini pancakes still hanging in there. I am actually going to try one of the vegetarian versions just to see what it tastes like. What it feels like being a vegetarian. Maybe one day. You never know. You never know.
You're still vegetarian, don't forget that.
That's right. That's it. Alright, let's try this one. Taste of my motherland.
Mm-hmm. Tastes like I gotta go get a passport.
Joelicious. Absolutely Joelicious.
Yeah, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll let you finish those. And I'm gonna get those pots out of there. This is gonna be really hot, so I gotta be very careful. So the one on the right is going to have beer in it. The one on the left is going to be beer free. I'm going to try them both and I'm going to decide which one's better. They're hot. Very hot. Ideally, this should go right on the plate, but I'm going to do it the traditional Belarusian way and eat them right from the pot. They taste better that way. And you know what they taste better with? This.
Oh yeah, that is exactly what I needed.
Hot. This is the beer free. And these are the Dreinekens. I absolutely love the Dreineken. That Heineken beer does make a big change to a traditional recipe. So if you guys like beer, and if you like something fancy, something interesting, something new, this is what you should guys make. This is Joelicious Kitchen. We'll see you next week with something else, something new, something Joelicious. With you from Joelicious Kitchen today, the Veggie Joe and the Joe. Joelicious!
Yeah, Joe.